that have been known to cause fires. There's also increasing concern about the way drivers use them, at times riding on sidewalks or disobeying traffic laws. At the same time, many of those who use them are deliveristas, many of whom are immigrants. So how should the state go about taking care of those issues without having a disproportionate impact on the Black and brown New Yorkers known to use them the most? Ms. Carmona, we'll start with you.
Yeah, we've seen it. We've seen it throughout the entire city with the lithium battery vehicles. And we've seen so many fires. We saw a lot actually in December, January, was an increase throughout the news. I think that we need to, if anything, we need to be focusing on making sure that we remove them off the street, because if you're not able to take care of them properly or store them properly or charge them properly, it is going to cause more fires and it is a danger to the people in the community. With that being said, these mopeds are the livelihood for a lot of workers, a lot of delivery workers. And that's something that I even spoke to DA Katz, because there are people that are blatantly just getting on the sidewalk and not following the rules, and they have removed a lot of those mopeds. I think that it would be more of making sure people are aware. Some people are driving these mopeds and really don't understand that maybe they have to follow a certain limit, making sure that we do have a campaign where we are giving people the tools and the information on how to safely keep them, but also how to conduct themselves on the street. So that would be one path, especially providing information in multiple languages, not just in English.
All right. Valdez.
That's one question. So I tend to think of this as a worker justice issue as well. As we just pointed out, many of those moped drivers are deliveristas. They're working for DoorDash, Uber Eats, Seamless. You name the multi-billion-dollar corporation that has placed all of the risk on workers and has carried none of it themselves. They are sending drivers out to deliver food, often with bad pay. They're masking their tips, and they're making drivers drive in ways that are unsafe. I think we have to hold these companies accountable too. They have to be part of the solution. If they're imperiling their workers by, not providing them the right education around which bikes are safe, which lithium batteries are safe, that's their responsibility. They're not insuring these workers. They're not providing them health care. They're barely providing them a living wage. And so I see this very much as a worker justice issue. And it is going to come down to education as well. I think the city has a responsibility, and the state has a responsibility to make sure that workers know which batteries are safe, which batteries are not safe, which charging facilities are safe and which are not safe. It's going to be a collective responsibility to make sure that these drivers know what kind of danger they're potentially in, potentially put their neighbors in. And like I said, it's up to these companies too, who are making so much in profit off of the precarity of these drivers who are being tasked with delivering at unsafe speeds and on unsafe streets for very little pay. I think part of this also has to do with street design. We can design streets that can be safe for all kinds of users, for cyclists, for pedestrians, for moped drivers as well, making bike lanes wider so that vehicles can pass each other safely and stuff like that.
If I could very quickly ask follow-up, Ms. Valdez. So you spoke about this idea of holding delivery companies accountable when it comes to educating drivers, making sure they're aware of all the rules, making sure that safe vehicles are being used. Were you to be elected, how would you make sure that companies would do that? Because I'm sure we can say with some certainty that most companies are not going to do something just because we're asking them to do it.
Are you saying that Uber wouldn't obey the law? Yeah, I think part of this is going to be civil penalties. A lot of it's going to have to be enforcement. We're working with the Department of Labor, especially that is deeply under-resourced and underfunded. There is a piece of legislation called the Empire Act that I think could help pull some resources into that body. So there's a few different approaches, right? But you're right that these companies don't just do the right thing because they're told to. Even after being told to, they're going to find ways to get around this. It is going to be about funding our Department of Labor so that it is well resourced, so we can have real enforcement mechanisms. And it's going to be about making sure that they pay, staying on top of them, organizing around it, make sure the drivers know their rights too. Because these corporations, they never do the right thing.
Starting with Ms. Valdez, what is one bill that was introduced in the past